welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, A Hard Choice Between Hall Pass and Moving Forward. And guys, this is definitely one of the more entertaining stories I've covered in a little while. This is about a story about a gal who's having a freaking meltdown because, long story short, 4 years earlier, she cheated on her husband with her coworker. They were having an affair for like 6 months, she claims, and after a while, her husband, being no dummy, connected the dots and confronted her, and she confessed. Upon her begging and pleading for a second chance and meltdown, in desperation, she offered him a hall pass, or a series of hall passes for him to essentially go hook up with other women to even the score. Completely ridiculous, bad idea. He should just broken up with her and moved on, as these stories go. But to just offer this thing goes to show you, yeah, she was desperate, but also, she's transactional. Well, fast forward a few years later, they stayed together, and you're going to see they tried to work things out, and are thinking about remarrying to start over. Bunch of bullshit, but whatever. And guess what? He's pulling out the hall passes, and before he wants to remarry her, wants to go hook up with other women. And she is freaking out about this, thinking, how dare you? I thought this was behind us, even though she offered this. And you're going to see she even offered a written contract about this whole thing that he gets to cash in on. So it's a whole freaking mess. Never ceases to amaze me. You can't make this stuff up. So, starting out, says here, long story short, D-Day was a little over 4 years ago. I had an emotional affair that turned to a physical affair. I, a 37-year-old female, cheated on my husband, a 38-year-old male, with my former coworker. Talk about a stereotype. My husband and I were each other's first and only loves. First and only partners up until I ruined it. The whole affair was about 6 months. My better half started to add it up, the texting, hiding the phone, the late hours, the stereotypical horrible spousal behavior, and confronted me. I confessed, and I was feeling horrible for my actions and the person I'd become. The look of pain, shock, anger, and disappointment and heartbreak snapped me out of whatever affair fog I was left. No, more like you realize, oh crap, my meal ticket could be over with here. Everybody's going to find out about this, so now I'm going to feel bad for what I did. Because I didn't feel bad before. She wasn't upset that what she did. She's upset she got caught. I quickly went no contact, quit the job. I jumped into individual counseling, begged him to do individual counseling, which he did. And we eventually got into marriage counseling. Marriage counselors, what I've heard and observed in these stories, they pretty much just want to keep them coming back and back for more, and they typically side with the woman and keeping a bad marriage going. I had to figure how I became this monster that would hurt the one I love the most in this world. I knew I had to do what I had to fix what I had broken, address my flaws that allowed me to be the worst version of myself, and try my damnedest to help heal this beautiful man that I destroyed. Keep in mind, she's the one writing this. Recovery has been long, hard, and slow. My husband is patient, kind, and has a huge heart, and he gave me this wonderful gift of working towards reconciliation that I will cherish for the rest of my life. For every ounce of work he did, and he did a lot, I try to do 3 ounces to show him how much he means to me and how much I want to work on this and will work on for as long as I live. She's certainly painting the picture that she is a saint aside from her indiscretions. This is what happens when the person that did the wrongdoing gets to tell the tale. Recently, we talked about getting remarried and setting new vows since I broke the other ones, to start afresh. What a ridiculous bunch of crap. Remarried. This is like the born-again virgin type of situations. They should have broke up. That's what they should have done. Should have given them a smooth, drama-free divorce, if that's possible, and move on. But no, and now the marriage counselor convinced them of that, and they're going to get remarried. Hope they're not going to spend any extra money on this remarriage wedding ceremony. I was talking to my better half about it, and he was excited too. But he said something that stood out to me. He said, I have a few loose ends of my healing to wrap up, and that I long to start this new journey as one. I asked, what loose ends? And he hit me with the biggest shock. The gift you gave me at the beginning of this. I looked confused, and he added, we'll talk about it in the next marriage counseling, which was in a couple of days. So he's going to leave. This is kind of like when a guy says to a woman, we need to talk. Like he texts her, we need to talk. That line drives women crazy because it gives them uncertainty. Talk about what? Why can't we talk about it now? He's saying we're going to talk about that thing in marriage counseling. So she has to wait around. Makes him crazy. And I think he knew that. After a while, it hit me. I'd given him the gift of a hall pass. Actually, hall passes. Those are my words, a gift. Shortly after getting caught and having his hurt and pained eyes burned into my brain and wanting to do anything in my power to save my marriage and help his hurt, I offered him a hall pass. He flat out refused and told me it was an offensive offer. It was an offensive offer. It goes to show she doesn't give a shit. You can go F other women. That'll make everything better in our marriage. They didn't equal each other. The hurt of betrayal by me and guilt-free SEX for him. He didn't want to assuage my guilt by him getting a hall pass. And also, he just didn't want it. Yeah. I begged him, pleaded, told him to think of it as a gift, to do with it as he pleased, whenever to help him heal. I even said it was 6 hall passes, 2 for each time I had SEX during the affair. She actually made a number on this, and by the way, I don't buy that. She said 2 hall passes for every time she had you-know-what. So she gave him 6 hall passes. So she's claiming in 6 months she only had you-know-what with her affair partner 3 times. Sure, honey. I begged. He was giving me the gift of reconciliation. I wanted to give him a gift too. After a week of me pleading over his objections, he finally said, as if to shut me up, okay, but this is a gift from you. You offered it. I didn't ask for it or really want it. This is from you. So you don't get to say how I use it for my healing, if I use it at all. You can't hold this over my head. You don't get to say, now we're even. If I choose to use it, it will solely be for my own healing and will never equal nor negate what you did. I then wrote up a contract between him and I outlined this gift to show him how serious I was. Okay, so let's review. She offered this transactional, that this is how her mind works, transactions. He didn't want this. Abundantly clear, he was offended by it, insulted. He doesn't want this. She wouldn't let up about this hall pass is. Finally, he said, okay, just to shut her up. She accepted, wrote out a contract, so we all hear this. Let's fast forward to the present. That was the last we ever talked about it. He never brought it up, never used it as a weapon of guilt or revenge. Honestly, I don't even know if he used them. I was afraid to ask, but I doubt he ever did. As time went on, and we did work things towards healing, it became further in the rearview mirror, until I forgot about it. In marriage counseling, we usually start with gratitude. He started by thanking me for all the hard work I've done. What a bunch of crap. I wouldn't be thanking her. Telling me his appreciation of the trust-building, relationship-building work I'm putting in. He said that while it's been very hard for him, I showed him time and time again how much I was dedicated to him and this relationship. I was in tears. Of course you were. But I had to ask about the gift. The counselor was confused, so I explained. My better half added that when we first got together, we were both purposely in waiting until marriage to have SEX, which was something we were both proud of. We were equals. Equal in life, equal in love, and equal in experience. Now we're not equal in one of those 3. To get us to the point to make a new vows, my better half would like to be equal in all 3 again. That's the last part of his healing, he said, to be equals. And now, the Walt Disney World fireworks are about to go off. He explained, I got to experience what it feels like to have another partner, to feel what it is different, to have a comparison that would always hang over his head, will always make him feel lesser. My heart broke. I know he has struggled with this insecurity, almost like an emasculation of sorts. It is emasculating. Some other dude plowing your wife. He said the hall passes would solely be transactional experience for the experience's sake. To feel what is different, to have a comparison, but with no emotions, no affair. Once the passes were done, he would never go back. Well, good luck. That's all fine and dandy, but there's going to be some emotions involved one way or another. Unless, of course, you get pros. And even then, for an inexperienced guy, there could be a connection. I said, but all this work in our marriage, how could you do this to us, to me? Hang on, lady. We all heard you offer the hall passes, multiple, plural. We all heard how you wouldn't leave him alone about this. We all heard it. There's a contract written out, and now all of a sudden, how could you do this to me? He said, this isn't about you. It's about something broken inside of me. I faintly said, don't you love me? And in a kind, soft voice, he said, of course I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. This isn't about me not loving you. It's about him getting some ass. Then, like a wave washing over me, I realized that these were the same feelings and questions my husband had for me all those years. How could I do this to him? To us? I said it wasn't about him. There was something broken inside me. But my husband didn't break me. I did break something in him. He would ask if I loved him, and I said I did. It's true. I always loved my husband. Oh yeah? Bullshit. Your actions say otherwise, honey, and remember, she's telling the story. I never stopped loving my husband even during the affair. He had to believe me. I told him he had to believe me because it's true. Now I have to believe him. I never fully understood how hard it was for him to believe what I was saying. Not until I'm in his shoes. I'm now having to do what I asked him to do. What I thought he should have no problem doing. This is not easy. I think she offered him those hall passes and then kept bugging him about it, knowing darn well that, or hoping that he wouldn't take them. Didn't really think he'd cash him in. Well, now he is. And now she's having a meltdown. Snapping me out of my mental whirlwind, the marriage counselor asked how he planned on doing it. He said, I'm not sure, probably SCX workers. I haven't actually thought about the details. Some were out of town, so never have to run into them. Also, so there's no emotional connection, just transactions. She says, SCX workers, ugh. They looked at me. I know this is hard, but it's what I needed. I was originally against the idea. This will not make us even, because I don't want to get even. But as we reconciled and we rebuilt trust, rebuilt our connections, I knew I wanted to be with you for the rest of my life. This is him saying this to her. It started to become a sticking point for me, not having the same experience as you. It sounds petty, I know, but this experience gap will always plague me. I'll always be comparable to someone else. I will always be insecure about that. I also began to realize this gap will never close on its own. This thing you gave me is what will close the gap. It's that final hurdle for me towards a new commitment. Honestly, you broke our old marriage, you broke me. But you're also the one that put the final piece in place for our new marriage. I finally realized you did, in fact, give me a gift towards healing. There you go. He's going to get all sorts of freaky you-know-what towards his gift towards healing. This is ridiculous, okay? Break up, okay? Come on here. Him going out and effing other women is not going to fix what happened. I mean, he can feel better for a second. His package is going to feel better. He can do all the freaky shit with some pros that she wouldn't do with him. No, this is a terrible idea. They should have broken up a long time ago. But, can't make this stuff up. I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. I do not want him sleeping with someone else, especially SCX workers. But neither did he want me sleeping with someone else. You gave him the hall passes. We all heard this 4 years ago. And begging and pleading and all the other bullshit you were doing. And now all of a sudden, years later, for him to say, okay, I'm ready to finally move on. But here's the deal. I'm cashing on those hall passes. And all of a sudden, right here, I don't want him sleeping with somebody else, especially SCX workers. I slept with someone behind his back without his knowledge, with an emotional connection. I told him he could sleep with someone with my knowledge, with my blessing. These aren't the same thing by any stretch of the imagination. She says, I slept with someone because I was insecure, not because of my husband, but because of me. But I made my husband insecure. Is it fair that I say that he can't try to regain some of his masculinity, regain some of that security? You, lady, are a selfish a-hole. Making him out to be the bad guy for doing the same thing that you did, but you gave him permission. Now, in my opinion, they should have broken up. And this is ridiculous. And this is only going to cause more damage towards them being together in the future. But if we're looking at it in terms of transactions, you offered it, and so now you're trying to take it back. She's really, it's all about her. She said, I slept with someone else because I read that part. I did break out old marriage and desperately want a new one. But is this how we get it back? I gave him this. Is it fair to take it back? Well, you're going to find a way to justify it. The marriage counselor asked what I thought. I don't know. I mean, he's right in a way, I guess, but I don't want this. I don't want him sleeping with someone else, even with no emotions. I know I gave him this option, but now I don't know. Is it healing? I said. The marriage counselor asked me if it would be a deal breaker for me, but I don't know how to answer that. Here's the deal. Let's be honest here. The guy has the leverage. The guy has the power. And he can say, okay, if you're not going to do this, then we're done. And you know darn well she'll have a meltdown and he'll get his way. But this is just, they need to break up. This is not going to work. He hasn't truly forgiven her, because if he really has, which he should, he can forgive her for his own peace, but to forget, no way. It's just a bad idea staying together. But he goes ahead and does this. He's not going to really make him feel better. It's just going to be more resentment and turmoil in the relationship. Thank God it doesn't. It sounds like they don't have any kids. Thank God. The marriage counselor told me this is a hard choice, one she's never seen, and for me to give time to think about it. My husband didn't seem angry, annoyed, or pushy. In fact, he seemed more patient. He knows this is a struggle for me. Yeah, well, he's laughing his ass off inside, as we all are here. This doesn't seem to be coming from a place of vengeance. He's not making hard lines in the sand. But I also think we'll never fully be able to start fresh without it. We're equal in life. We're equal in love. But is being equal in experience a deal breaker for him? Is him doing this a deal breaker for me? I don't know how to process this. Well, I'll help you process. You're a selfish a-hole. You cheat on what sounds to be a very good man. And, you know, for all your different reasons, he caught you. And he actually gave you a chance to work it out, marriage counseling and all that, which, you know, my opinion on that. And you offered the hall passes, which is just, was so insulting towards him. He didn't want this, but he kept doubling and tripling down on the whole thing, probably thinking he'd never do it. Well, lo and behold, now he does. And if he wants to do it, I say he should do it. But in my opinion, he goes ahead and does this, it's just going to make things worse. They shouldn't be together. End of story. Okay, they should have broke up a long time ago, and now this is just going to be just more turmoil and ugliness. I mean, 4 years of dealing with this shit, right? Life is too short. Time to just cut your losses and move on. So, while I do find this very funny about this whole transactional thing, and how she offered this, now it's coming back to blow up in her face because now he wants to cash these in, get some SEX workers, 6 of them. Still, of course, I don't want that. Can't make this up. I think they need to break up, end of story. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. But we shall see. I will pay attention for updates. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. What do you think? Should he go ahead and get those hall passes and continue to work on the marriage, get remarried? Or do you think part ways, get a divorce, move on, end of story? Because I think it's going to be worse and worse and worse. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. And also comment away how you find it amusing how she offered these things. And now years later when she forgot about it, now he wants to take her up on it, and now she's freaking out because he wants to take her up on something she begged him to do. I find that very funny. I'd like to hear your opinion on that. And also, guys, you come across a great story you'd like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And, guys, if you're first time to this channel, definitely hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're a regular, definitely subscribe to my other channels, Strong Successful Male and SSM Clips. We're really trying to grow these channels this year, and the more you guys sign up for them, even if it's not your thing like the other channels, it'll really help me out, help YouTube promote the channel, because they'll see new subscribers, means people like it. It'll help really be able to help more guys out around the world. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.